Treaty 3 was an agreement entered into on October 3, 1873, by the Ojibwe First Nations and Queen Victoria. The treaty involved a vast tract of Ojibwe territory, including large parts of what is now northwestern Ontario and a small part of eastern Manitoba, to the Government of Canada. Treaty 3 also provided for rights for the Waasaakode Anishinaabe and other Ojibwe, through a series of agreements signed over the next year. It was the third in a series of 11 numbered treaties between the Crown and First Nation band governments. Despite being the third of these treaties, it is more historically significant in that its text and terms served as the model for the remainder of the numbered treaties. Treaties 1 and 2 covered an area about the same size and had to be amended to reflect some of the developments arising out of the negotiation of Treaty 3. At the time that it was negotiated, it was anticipated that the terms of Treaty 3 would serve as a model for future treaties and would require the amendment of Treaties 1 and 2. Treaty 3 has particular historical significance because of the litigation that ensued between the Crown in right of Ontario and the Crown in right of Canada over the significance of the treaty and the respective roles of Canada and the provinces in relation to Aboriginal peoples. The first of these cases is St. Catherine's Milling v. the Queen, which dealt with the question of the ownership of lands subject to a treaty. The second, the Dominion of Canada v. the Province of Ontario, dealt with the question of whether or not Ontario had to indemnify Canada for the expenses incurred in negotiating the treaty and the ongoing costs of fulfilling the treaty obligations. Canada lost this case as well, with the Supreme Court of Canada and the Privy Council holding that Canada was responsible for Indian affairs and the welfare of Indians, and that the treaty had been negotiated to achieve broad national purposes rather than to benefit Ontario. The significance of these decisions is still a matter of discussion in the Canadian courts. Treaty 3 is also significant as there exists a written record of the native people's understanding of the treaty. This is known as the PAPOM document. It is a series of notes that were written for Chief Powassan during the treaty negotiations, and documents the promises that were made to the First Nations people. The promises in the PAPOM document differ in a number of ways from the printed version available from the Canadian government. Signatory First Nations: Big Grassy First Nation, Anishinaabe of Naomashiing Northwest Angle 33 First Nation, Northwest Angle 37 First Nation, Ojibwe of Onigaming First Nation, Anishinaabe of Waasaakode, Bimos Tribal Council, Assapequoddy First Nation, Eagle Lake First Nation, Waasaakode 39 Independent First Nation, Lac des Mille Lacs First Nation, Naotamagwaning First Nation, Obashkandaga Bay First Nation, Okaichagwe Barbigoning Ojibwe Nation, Shoal Lake 41st Nation, Wabasimong Independent Nations, Waboskan First Nation, Wabagoon Lake Ojibwe Nation, PWI Diguzingni Yazetting Advisory Services, Couchiching First Nation, Laklakwai First Nation, Mitanjagaming First Nation, Nikachuinan First Nation, Nijagunsaminakaning First Nation, Rainy River First Nation, Sen River First Nation, Stanjikoming First Nation, Independent First Nations Alliance, Laxel First Nation, Unaffiliated Ojibwe Nation of Saugeen First Nation.